So, four pillars of data quality management. So, data profiling. So, data profiling is the process of analyzing the data extracted from different sources systems. To improve data quality, we should know the quality of existing data. So, data profiling will help to gain and, and understand the existing data relative to the quality specification. So, data quality. So, we build on the information learned in data profiling to understand the causes of the problems. So, for example, the data profiling activities could reveal that we have duplicate data. So, the analysis portion or validation of data quality uncovers the symptoms different representation on the same product due to the inconsistent in the data once we identify the specific data problems. So, we can choose from one of the below options. So, one, excluded data. If the problem with the data is deemed to be served, the best approach may be to remove the data. So, two, accept the data. So, even if we know that there are errors in the data, if the error is within our tolerance limits, the best approach sometimes is to accept data with the error. So, three, correct the data. When encounter different variation of the consumer's name, we could select one to be the master so that data can be consolidated. So, four, insert a default value. So, sometimes it is important to have a value for a field even when we're unsure of the correct value. So we could create a default value and insert the value in the field. So data integration. So data about the same item often exists in multiple databases. So this data can take virtually any form, customer's name and address data, product data, and etc. So this is an example. So one a company, for example, had two product files, a master product extract from its US based ERP package and a product extract from Europe. So the company sold same products in both areas, but the products may be sold under different names and product brand, and description patterns in each file were based on data entry personnel. So data augmentation entails incorporating additional external data not directly based uh, to the base data to gain insight with customers' data. It's very common to combine internal data with data from third parties to increase an understanding of the customers and his or her buying potential and loyalty. So, in the manufacturing industry, so the company knowledge of the actual consumer sales is limited. It only knows what it sold to be wholesaler or retailer. So information about the actual sales need to be acquired from third parties, either the retailers or data providers. So data quality assessment process. So data quality assessment process or DQA is the process of scientifically and statistically evaluating data. So in order to determine whether they meet the quality required for projects or business processes and are of the right type and quantity to be able to actually support the intended use. So it can be considered a set of guidelines and techniques that are used to describe data given an application context and apply to processes to access and improve the quality of data. So DQA is usually performed to fix subjective issues related business processes such as a generation to accurate reports and ensure data-driven and data-dependent processes are working as expected. So DQA processes are aligned with the best practices and a set of prerequisites as well as with the 5 dimensions of data quality. So the 5 dimensions of data quality is accuracy and reliability, serviceability, accessibility, methodological soundness, and assurances of integrity. So data quality improvement process. So step 1. So define the business goals for data quality improvement. Data owners or stakeholders impacted business processes and data rules. So example for customers data, I will give one. So I will read. So goals: ensure all customers records are unique and accurate information. So example, address, phone number, and etc. Consistent data across multiple systems and etc. So step 2, assessment. So assess the existing data against rules specified in definition steps. So access data against multiple dimensions such as accuracy of key attributes and completeness of all required attributes, consistency of attributes across multiple data sets, timeliness of data, and etc. So depending on the volume, variety of data, and scope of data quality project in enterprise, we might perform qualitative and or quantitative assessment using some profiling tools. So this is the stage access existing policy, data access, data security, adherence of specified industry or standards or guidelines, and etc. as well. So examples. So access percent of customers' records are the unique with the name and address together. So percent of non-values is the key of attributes. So step 3, analysis. So the analyze the assessment results on multiple fronts. One area to analyze is the gap between DQ, business goals, and current data. So another area of analysis is the root causes for inferior data quality. So example, so if the customer's address are inaccurate by more than a business defined goal, what is the root cause? So this is the questions. So step 4, improvement. So design and development improvement plans based on prior analysis. The plan should be comprehend time frames, resources, and cost of involved. So example of all applications modifying addresses must validate against selected address reference database. So customers can only be modified via order entry application. The intended changes to the system will take 6 months to implement and require XYZ resource and money. So step 5, implementation. So implement solution determined in the improve stage. Comprehend both technical as well as many business process related changes. Implement a comprehensive change management plan to ensure that all stakeholders are appropriately trained. So step 6, control. Verify at periodic intervals that the data is consistent with the business goals and data rules specified in definition step. So communicate data quality, metrics, and current status of all stakeholders on a regular basis to ensure that data quality discipline are maintained on an ongoing basis across the organization. So data quality is not a one-time project but a continuous process and requires the entire organization to be data-driven and data-focused. So with a proxy focus from the top, data quality management can reap rich dividends on organization and requires the entire organization to be data-driven and data-focused. With appropriate focus from the top, data quality management can reap dividends to organization. So data correction procedures. So a complainant may request correction of BGS. Data is one of the 3 ways. So, in accordance with the requirements set out below, a complainant may subject and data correction request by mail to the contact provided below in section D, by fax to the contact provided below in section D, and electronic mail to that email. So describe where the perceived errors must identify, including applicable and publication, title, date, page, web page, address, URL, graph, table, chart, column, row, and etc. So explain why correction is needed, including explanation how perceived error fails to comply with the data quality guidelines from DOJ, OMB, and BJS. So explain how the complainant is affected by perceived error. So provide corrected information and supporting documents. Provide additional information and evidence as the complainant deems appropriate. Provide the complainant's name, address, phone number, fax number, and or email address. If the data correction request is by electronic mail, the subject line should read data correction request. So if subjected by the regular mail or fax, the envelope or fax cover sheet should be clearly data correction request. So the failure of complainant to fully explain the nature of the complaint and provide contact information may cause significant delays for BGS response. So BGS will not attempt to contact the requestor to obtain the additional information. So that's all. Thank you for listening.